The train rattles beneath me, its vibratory hum blending into the winter silence of Christmas Eve morning. It's 6 a.m. Outside, darkness clings to the fields, held by the eerie stillness between night and day. Frost edges the window, and a chill plagues my seat near the door. Beyond the grimy window, the estuary slithers through the rolling mist. The dark trees, unnaturally still, stand tall against the grey sky, their thin branches reaching out to me. A blood-red sun begins its slow ascent, the clouds bruising in its wake. Every morning feels identical to the last, the train chugging through the open fields, the land suspended in silence, the frost glinting like broken glass. At every stop I look for someone new, but every day it's the same glum, tired faces. The man in the grey overcoat clutching his laptop, the young woman with the bright scarf staring blankly into her phone. No Christmas cheer to be found among them, just a quiet acknowledgement that the hour belongs to distance and silence. The train slows, pulling into Lowmere station. A cold dread tightening in my chest. The dim lights struggle against the dark, glinting off the frost-covered platform. No bustling decorations adorn this lonely stop. Only one person ever boards the train. Miss Hughes, my dour ex-school teacher. Tall and thin, Miss Hughes cast a stark line against the station's pale light. She wears no scarf and bears no signs of holiday cheer. She slips into the dim interior, her coat blending into the shadows. The door closes with a hiss. She pauses, scanning the near-empty carriage, her eyes full of searching. I look away, fearing she's noticed me, but she never does. Sharp angles and hollows define her face. Her papery skin clings to her skull and bones. Only her eyes seem alive, taking in every detail, but never meeting mine. Has she always worn black, I wonder? Mourning something no one else can see. Her long, shapeless coat hangs from her frail body, and her gloved hands clutch a tattered old hardback. She reads the same book every day. I never catch the title. Not that I dare to ask. Even when I look away, her presence slips into my thoughts, filling the gaps where I'd rather not go. She sits at the far end of the carriage, a place always left empty, the other passengers instinctively knowing to avoid her. The train groans through a tunnel, and the flickering lights seem to stretch the shadows. The young woman with the bright scarf vanishes. Only when I blink does she reappear. But her reflection seems wrong. Distorted, pale, swimming across the dirty glass. I remember those winter days in Miss Hughes's classroom. Even on Christmas Eve, she never softened. Her voice cut through the holiday spirit, that relentless disdain slicing into me. "Are you truly dense or just lazy?" she'd say. My classmates watched in silence, gloating over the lamb and its impending slaughter. I'd sit there and say nothing, my cheeks burning, my hands gripping the desk. She'd make me stand for the entire lesson, teary-eyed and humiliated. I tell myself it didn't matter. Once I left school, that would be the end of it. I'd forget that grating voice and hateful looks, but I never did. And I still feel her watching me, judging me, though I dare not meet her gaze. It's not just the memories that haunt me. Something darker lurks beneath, waiting for me to acknowledge it. After all these years, her voice still cuts me. I can't remember the details, and the words no longer seem important. But her silence on that last day sticks, the way she whispered to me. Too low for anyone else to hear. You're a dull, worthless boy. I wonder what will become of you. At that moment, I believed her. Did I walk out? Or did something else happen? A part of me remains uncertain. Almost like I never left. Such vagueness weighs on me, smothers me like a second skin. Miss Hughes never looks back. Not at me or anyone. She fixes her gaze ahead, resting her hands firmly on her lap. She speaks to no one, and no one talks back. It's like she has carved out her very own space, an invisible wall. The air feels cold around her. Something unnatural about the way she sits. Like a shadow that's lingered too long. I didn't mean for it to. I didn't mean, she whispers. So faint, I almost doubt I've heard it. The train jolts, rattling over the uneven tracks, causing Miss Hughes to turn her head. I catch her glance, and the knot in my stomach tightens. Her gaze lingers while she tries to place me. A strange light shines in her eyes, dim but persistent. She doesn't recognize me. She never does. Her gaze travels through me, and turning back to her book, she lets the moment pass. Her skin looked greyer during that tiny glimpse of her face. She ages by the day. It's almost like she's fading. I stare out the window, catching my reflection in the glass. I also look withdrawn, pale and gaunt. Does the condensation on the glass distort, or do our faces blend into one? I turn up my collar, wondering why it's so cold. It doesn't seem to bother anyone else. The lights flicker while the train dips into another tunnel, and in the momentary darkness, I hear something. Her voice, faint, calling my name. The train emerges from the tunnel, and the whispering stops to the sudden surge of grey light. When I look at her, she doesn't move. She stares ahead, her bony hands still clutching that tattered old book. I'm tempted to walk over and ask if she remembers me, but I remain seated, the words lodged in my throat. Beyond the window, the land remains unchanged. The mist clears slightly, while the naked trees stand tall against the vast grey sky. I glance back at Miss Hughes. She stares out the window, her ashen skin blending with her surroundings, brittle and fading, a part of her already gone. I shift uncomfortably in my seat, trying to shake this growing feeling of unease. A sudden coldness ripples through my chest. and turning towards her, I feel the weight of her gaze. I want to look away, but I'm unable to break free. The train slows, seconds stretch into minutes, minutes into hours. Miss Hughes's grip on the armrest tightens. She breathes in short, shallow bursts, each one feeling close to her last. Her gaze locks onto mine, intense, as if I were the last person she expected to see. She lets out a faint gasp. An unmistakable terror settles in her eyes. Is it from seeing me, or some long-buried sin? Her book falls onto the aisle while she stands. She doesn't bother to retrieve it. And while she hurries down the carriage, I wonder what she's running from. The past, or a sudden sense of guilt. I step onto the platform, the cold biting my skin. The train inches forward, its windows a blur of frost and shadow. For a moment, I see her face there, Miss Hughes pressed against the glass, pale, insubstantial, staring back as though she'd never left her seat. Her features dissolve into my own reflection. The two of us, blurring together in the icy pain. Neither one of us is fully formed. Neither one of us is free. I close my eyes, and when I open them, I'm seated once more. The frost glinting on the window, the fields unmoving. The train rattles on, the same thin faces around me, the same rising dread. The guard's voice echoes down the carriage. Next stop, Lowmere station. I glance at my watch. 06:13 a.m. Always 06:13 a.m.